Okay, let's do this thing. Here we are, live today. Last week was All In. This week was All Out. In a very somewhat controversial show, I should be saying today, because a lot of news has happened in these past few days in the world of AEW. And with them taking over Chicago, Illinois for the entire week, I must say it has been a rough one, which I'm sure everyone has many, many mixed opinions on. And where will this company go forward next? They did a big thing last week of selling out over 80,000 seats at All in London, England last week, which is a pretty big deal and whatnot. But now doing another paper next week in Chicago. Is it really the best idea? Well, yes and no, given you only have 1 week of build for this show. So it's going to be discussed a lot, and, we're not going to focus on the biggest thing in the room. Obviously, we all know the elephant in the room of what is really surrounded around all of this show, which is CM Punk, but we'll get to that in a few minutes, though, because we still want to talk about this entire pay-per-view in general, okay? Because a lot of things were somewhat added at the last minute. But first, let my co-host introduce him today as we review All Out.
Black Shaggy in the building. Like Bryce said, there's a whole lot going on, but either we get into it or we don't. We're here to talk about All Out, and yeah, let's get it popping.
And two things, one thing we do want to make kind of with this video is this. On one hand, I was actually at the event yesterday. So I was in the United Center last night for All Out. I know Steven watched it on basically on TV and whatnot. So I know it's going to be two different perspectives because at least, you can hear the commentary team, and I'm sure it's different when it plays out on TV than it is different than being there live and in person within the arena, because I was there last night and I was there for Dynamite last Wednesday, which we'll talk about attendance in a minute. But let's get into the meat and potatoes of this whole thing. Did you watch the pre-show?
When I came in, I saw the 6-man, but I didn't see anything before that.
Yes. I missed I think it was the women that had a match first, and I don't remember who all was in it. I think it was like Athena, Mercedes, and Diamante versus Sky Blue, Willow, and
Sheeta.
Sheeta. Yeah, the only thing I remember, I think Sheeta and them won by the time I got in the building and I heard the music going off. So I did miss that match. I mostly saw the whole 6-man with the Acclaim versus, Jeff Jarrett, Lethal, and Satsum Singh. Oh, let's remember Dennis Rodman was there, which that was still strange to me of how they just brought in Dennis Rodman from out of nowhere.
I mean, I didn't watch Collision, so I don't even know how this came to be. But yeah, I was like, oh, Dennis Rodman's here. Okay.
I thought he was there. I low-key kind of thought he was their answer. Like, well, y'all, we can't get Punk, so we're going to give you Dennis Rodman. And I'm like, okay, yes, he is Chicago Bull. He is a legend. But at the same time, why are we bringing him in? Because it felt kind of random. It's not like how it was nearly 20-something years ago when the Chicago Bulls was one of the hottest things at the time. And it's not like he's coming out there with the NWO and Hogan and getting a big pop coming out the Voodoo Child.
I
So,
mean, he
like,
was having fun, so it was whatever.
yeah, he was having fun, but it was just kind of, I was like, what is his purpose to be here?
I
That was
mean, none of this even mattered, like for real. So it's like,
it's like the Acclaim one. They hit a guitar on Jay Lethal's head, so the Acclaim won. It's not really much to say from this. They won. They got on the card at the last second. They're the new 6-man trio, scissor titles. They won a match. So I think I said this last week about Billy Gunn. At least I can say Billy Gunn is once again a tag team champion of the world.
Yeah.
So, well, maybe not tag team, but he's got a title again, so he's Billy Gunn. But let's get to the actual main part of the show, because my God, there was so many, commentary changes throughout the night. How many commentary changes were there out there? Because I feel like we saw like everybody getting switched around throughout the whole night. Because
3,
I think it's
I think.
3. Because I think it started with Kevin Kelly, Nigel McGuinness, and Excalibur out there. out there, and they were just like switching them. Why they don't switch Excalibur, I'll never know why. But then somebody had to remind me, well, he's the head commentator. I'm like,
Yeah, he's
really?
their Michael Cole. You can't switch him.
Okay, because I'm sorry, I kind of tune him out nowadays on a lot of stuff. It's like iffy with him. So that's why I always wonder, like, how can they switch everybody, but they don't never switch him? But let's get to the first match of the show. The Ring of Honor Tag Team titles on the line. MJF, also the AEW World Champion, and Adam Cole, Better Than You, Bebe, versus the Dark Order.
For some reason.
For some reason, because let me say this: when the Dark Order won a battle royale on Rampage when I was there, and when I was there live, nobody cared.
Yeah, why
No,
would they care? They've been on Ring of Honor all this time. And before they were on Ring of Honor, it's not like they won anything. So, you know.
mm, they lose all the time, so it's kind of like, who cares? Honestly, the only thing I can really take away from this match was it was all about Adam Cole and MJF. They're
The
the only
worst part
reason why they
about
were
it
up top
is
for it.
the worst part about it is they had a story they were building on TV with the Kingdom, and they didn't do that. Then when MJF got taken out, I thought, oh, is Roderick Strong going to come out here to be his replacement partner, and him and Adam Cole are going to defend the titles, and then that leads to more like, nah, that didn't happen either. So it's just like, okay, this was just a match to get them on the card, and literally that's it.
They just were on the card to be on the card, and when they came out there, I don't even think they got much reaction when they came out there. Like they didn't, because I would like the Kingdom I could have understood, but I don't even think they were in that battle royale on Rampage. There were so many teams I didn't even know who was really. I didn't know who half these people were when they came out. I'm like, I don't know who this is. I don't know who that is. I only know like 2-3 teams.
Yeah, they weren't even on the graphic for the match, so I don't think they ever planned for them to be in that match, which just makes even less sense.
Because I'll tell you, like when me and my friend went there on Wednesday, like he didn't know who half these people were. And I'm like, who are some of these people? Like, okay, the Hardys, yeah, that's easy. Aussie Open, which I'm almost surprised they didn't win this battle royale. I don't know, Ziggler's brother and some dude. I'm like, why is the Dark Order? And I'll be honest, I'm surprised Dark Order is even still a group at this point. I'm like, why should anybody care about these people? And I actually like John Silver, but why should anybody care about these people? Like
Yeah, I don't know.
they've sucked for so long, and I've never been really a fan of them to begin with as much. I thought they were somewhat more tolerable, but that was when Brody was still here. But then after that, I'm like, what do you all do at this point? And I'm sitting there like, how many people really been in this group at this point? It's like they're just there. And once I said before, this match was mostly about MJF and Adam Cole because people want to chant double clothesline. They want to chant kangaroo kick. It's all about them. That's all it really was about. And the story, I guess, MJF getting hurt within the match, and then, the medics get him up out of there and carry him to the back. And then Adam Cole's doing the match on his own. And then, MJF ended up coming back out there and doing the kangaroo kick, and they did the double clothesline. And who did they pin? Alex Reynolds for the win. So that's kind of it. And then again, I was sitting there wondering, like, we'll get to the main event because I kept wondering to myself, so if the world champion is on the first part of the show, who the hell's main eventing this damn thing?
Well, yeah, now we know. I'll say that this match also was a missed opportunity because you could have done a rematch with Aussie Open, like because I mean, obviously, since they were wrestling twice on All In, you couldn't really have them go crazy in the Aussie Open match. So you just gave us, standard tag match just to get the belts on them, so we could get to the main event. But now that that's over, now you could give us the big match between them. So they should have won the battle royal, and you could have had this main event with these two versus Aussie Open, but they didn't do that either. So I don't really know. Like I said, this was literally just to get Cole and MJF on the card, but you could have done this in so many more creative ways than what they did. So I don't know.
This felt like a match you put on Dynamite.
It didn't even feel like it felt like a Rampage match.
Shit, even
Like,
lower than that, to be honest. Yes, against the Dark Order. And I'm saying, and even when you think about it, you don't never see MJF and Adam Cole on Rampage, especially MJF. So yeah, it's almost to that level. So the only thing that kept the crowd going was just MJF and Adam Cole. That was kind of it. So I didn't really have much care for this match. I was already confused why this was even happening. You knew MJF and Cole were gonna win, and that's kind of it. Because it's like I said before, what has the Dark Order really done? And like you said, other than being on Ring of Honor fighting the Kingdom, what have they really ever been doing on like when did they last time even been on Dynamite?
Great question.
Seriously. So this was like a whatever match. I just did not really care about. MJF and Cole won, but then it's MJF and Cole are leaving. Samoa Joe makes his entrance. Basically, almost like a retelling from NXT Takeover Brooklyn from a few years ago. Samoa Joe pushes MJF for just because, and then MJF basically got pissed off, and he tried to brawl with Joe until all the security guards broke it up, and they got him out of there so Samoa Joe can get ready for his next match. Will we see Samoa Joe and MJF in the future for the world title? Possibly. Maybe already to start.
I
But
mean, that's cool, but I'm not really trying to see MJF beat Samoa Joe.
yeah, I don't know about that. I'm like, this is Joe we talking about. I'm like, it's
Yeah.
Joe. I don't know about MJF beating Joe. I understood Punk beating Joe in some ways, but I'm
And
like,
even he had to use a Pepsi plunge to beat him. It's not like he just beat him.
yeah,
Like,
he didn't just GTS him. He had a big Pepsi plunge. People telling me like he got his big ass up there. I'm like, yeah, he got him. It wasn't the best looking, but he got him. I was surprised he won by that last week. But Samoa Joe though went against Shane Taylor for the Ring of Honor television title. You know, listen, it was a good match. I like Shane Taylor. The problem is the crowd didn't really care, I don't even think they knew who he was out there. They were very quiet for this match. I don't think a lot of people watch Ring of Honor. Like they really don't. Even when Collision, I think, happens, and then they take Ring of Honor right after, people already kind of leave right after that because I don't think they want to see ROH. So it's not like we've ever seen Shane Taylor on Dynamite or Collision or anything on AEW television. He's on Ring of Honor television, and then again, you got like pay to watch that, I believe, too, and whatnot. So it was a good match, but nobody cared. Nobody, I don't think nobody knows who Shane Taylor is. They just don't know.
yeah, they
Joe
did
won,
this no
so
favors, man.
and let's remember, this is a match that was literally at the last minute. They announced this last week out of nowhere. No build, no reason. It's like, here you go. Ring of Honor television title match, which even I sat there wondering for this pay-per-view, like, is this an AEW pay-per-view or are we doing a Ring of Honor pay-per-view? Which one is it?
Yeah, those first couple matches were very Ring of Honor heavy. And I don't know if this was always the plan or not. I heard there were some illnesses. They got the hurricane going on. I know they had raised services coming up and everything. So I don't know how much all of that affected what they put on this card. But if they had this in mind that they were going to do this match, then they should have at least had him show up on Dynamite. Like, but they never did that. Like they didn't put like they had no forethought that this was going to happen. Like I would have if this was really what we were going to do, I would have had Shane Taylor cost him the match with Punk at All In. Like at least
Give
put
a
some heat
reason.
on it. Like I don't know, man. It just seemed like they didn't really know this is what they were going to do, and maybe these circumstances is what caused them to put this on here. But they probably would have just been better off not having it on here, unless the whole point was to just do the Joe shove to build the MJF. But you could have done that on Dynamite, bro. Like,
Yeah, because there was no heat to this. This was at the last minute. And I can understand those other reasons too, but kind of like what I said earlier, I don't know how smart it was to do another pay-per-view literally the week after you just had one before, which was supposedly like the biggest pay-per-view of all time, as everyone says. But then you want to do a pay-per-view literally the week after, knowing you're gonna have to put on a lot of random matches that aren't gonna have a lot of build to it. And I didn't really think that was a smart idea to really do.
yeah,
Like,
and if that's what they wanted to do, then they should have had the All In matches build to the All Out matches. Like, what if we had like instead of the Acclaim winning the 6 man titles on All In, have them win them on All Out, but let there be like a number one contenders match or something on All In. Have like like I said, Shane Taylor show up and cost Punk or cost Joe the match with Punk on All In to build the match to All Out. Like, if you want to do back to back, I wouldn't do it anyway. But if this is what you're going to do, you need more, like they did with Kenny and Takeshita. Like they had that match to set up this match.
Yeah, see,
They
that
had
makes sense.
the FTR Bucks match to set up this match. Like you needed to do that all through the show because to have one pay per view kind of on an island, and then this pay per view happened right afterwards with nothing built from that to this. Like that's why I said you should have did the Aussie Open rematch here. Like if this is what you're going to do, that's what you have to do, man. Because this back to back thing with this pay per view having really nothing to do with what we just saw for a lot of these matches was a terrible idea. That sucks for a guy like Shane Taylor, man. Because I'm happy he got the pay per view payday, and for a Ring of Honor fan and me, to see a match like this, Joe and Shane Taylor, that's cool. But the crowd, like you said, they didn't care, bro, because why would they care? We ain't never seen this nigga on TV. And now we're all of a sudden like, oh, Shane Taylor's here. Like, no, bro. Why would you ever think he was going to beat Samoa Joe when he never even showed up once in
Yeah,
person?
once. Never been on any type of AEW television. It's like, okay, here you go, television title match. I'm like, with no build, huh? Like, this, like we're just throwing matches, which I shouldn't have been surprised, given like you just had All In, but it's like, dude, like we're really just throwing off a lot of random stuff. Like, come on now, like it don't make sense all the way. So I just like I say it wasn't a bad match. It's just the crowd didn't really care, and this was some last minute booking. So there you go. Next was Darby Allin versus Luchasaurus for the TNT title. Jim Ross was on commentary, basically switching out Kevin Kelly. I will say this was a good match. I feel like the crowd was very up and down on it. I did enjoy it though. It was pretty good. I think Christian's probably the best heel in the company, like one of the best heels in the company right now. Because that dude can get heat. But then again, people were actually cheering him out there too when he actually made his entrance and whatnot, even though he's the heel. But I thought it was good. I think Luchasaurus has somewhat gotten better because obviously he actually works like a big man nowadays out there instead of trying to do flippy stuff out there. But being a guy that's like 6, 7 foot tall, I doubt he did some brutal stuff to Darby, like the whole steel steps thing by stepping on him. He had Darby bleeding out there. Darby is just like a human missile, especially if he does a suicide dive on you. He's just basically like a human missile that just like crashes into you. And it was telling a pretty good story up here because even when Darby was about to kind of get the win with the coffin drop, Christian Cage has got a chair. And, he takes out Nick Wayne with it, and he was going to take him out again. And basically, Darby's trying to make a choice, like, what do I do? What do I do? Like, do I hit him? Do I save Nick Wayne? And he went for it, but Luchasaurus had got him, and he hit him with, like, 2 tombstones, which a lot of people said looked like crap out there, because
It's too
it
much
didn't look
space.
good. Huh?
It's too much space.
It was, and even I saw like you could see it on TV and see it live of how much space. Like it was a lot of space from that tombstone. Which, and I understand you got to protect people and everything too, but he was very far off from it when doing those tombstones. Like you could see that coming from a mile away. And Luchasaurus ended up hitting like his big lariat finisher and won the match. But then after that, Christian Cage, he set up the concerto and he was gonna make Nick Wayne watch it. But then they just sent out a whole bunch of job guys out there to come make the save then to make the save, for like Darby and Nick Wayne, which I thought Sting was gonna come out. Like I thought Sting would have just showed up and start hitting people with a baseball bat or something.
Yeah,
So
I told you it was going to be Wardlow, but I mean, Sting would have made more sense if they didn't want to blow a Wardlow return, if they didn't want to do that match yet. But yeah, it not being Sting was weird. That it was right there, an open goal. Like, why would it not be Sting?
because I'm looking at these people like what Sean Spears and the Best Friends and Mario Andretti out there and Darius Martin. I'm like, why did they send these people out here? Like, this is the best they could send.
Yeah, this is that group could probably get killed by Luchasaurus by himself, like
True.
like a Kane or an Undertaker spot where he just starts laying everybody out. So it was very weird that that's who they chose to come out. But yeah, this is when the show though took a turn for me, man. I thought this match was awesome. Like Yeah, the crowd didn't really get into it till about halfway through, but watching this on TV, man, I was like, oh, this match rules, man. All the stuff Luchasaurus was doing, like you said, he's out here wrestling like a big man. He's killing Darby with it. And I mean, Darby is the perfect opponent for that kind of thing because you can throw him around and he'll be fine. Even though I think I heard he's hurting right now, so that's probably why they wrote him off. But yeah, I thought this match ruled, man. And for me, this was like the turning point for the show, and then the show just kept going up for me. And yeah, I thought all that they did was dope. And apparently, I think I heard that Wrestle Dream or whatever they're calling his show is in Seattle. So they'll probably do Nick Wayne versus Christian or something on that show, which is fine. He better not beat Luchasaurus for that title though, because Nick Wayne winning the title before Swerve in this company is
Oh,
bullshit.
yeah, oh yeah, we no, they no, I can't see that. Like I've seen enough of Swerve losing, and I will say this within this whole story they've been trying to pull, because Darby's been everywhere trying to like had several different feuds right now, but we already talked about how a lot of things didn't make sense with the AR Fox thing. At least like, what, Darby's easy enough to what? Oh, okay, Fox, we were friends before. You trained me, so we're cool, but at least it made sense for Nick Wayne not to like just straight up shake his hand and easily forgive him after you ran up in my house, tried to murder me, and beat me up in front of my mom several times and taunt her. But it's like, oh no, Swerve turn on you. Oh, we're cool. We're all friends now. Like,
Yeah,
what?
at least they made that make sense when Nick Wayne's like, nah,
Oh,
nah,
he tried to
bro.
kill me. Like, why would he beat me up in front of my mom? Like, talked about my dad, all this shit. Like, yeah, there you go.
I still don't even know why we did that, man. Like why? Because we haven't seen AR Fox since he got kicked out, except for that little backstage segment. But they could have recorded that before. So I don't know what's up with AR Fox, man. But it they should have never broke them up, bro. Like
That
whatever
was
was
weird.
going on, they should have never done it, dude.
That was just weird to me. Like, they could have just kept him going, and then when they just did that whole switcheroo, like, that just looks strange to me, and I'm like, really, this is where we're going? And then how they just easily forgive him, and like, yeah, let's bring Christian in, and it's like, wow, they really could have gave Fox a chance here, but like, nah, we'll bring Christian in. Like, don't get me wrong, I think Christian's one of the best heels right now in this company. He's great.
Christian's my favorite thing in the company,
Yeah,
actually.
honestly, he's one of my, yeah, he's probably like the biggest. He's literally the biggest heel there. Like, he's one of the best things. He gets heat. Okay, just come out and talk about someone's dead parent, and they're starting to cheer for him now when he does that.
Because now it's a meme. Like he's leaning into it. Like he came out. Oh, I guess he was talking to Nick Wayne. He was like, "I heard you have a father or whatever." It's like, oh man, now
Oh,
Christian's the greatest, man.
Christian's awesome. People thought Edge was gonna come out and make the save.
I mean, that also would have made sense. Like, but we what whatever thought we had in our heads of what they could have done, whether it be Sting, Wardlow, Edge, it was Shawn Spears in the gang, and like, whatever we thought was going to be better than what they actually did. So
We
yeah,
sent in the Rampage crew.
shoot, it's, the Dark Crew, bro.
Oh yeah,
Like,
we sent the Dark crew. We sent in the Dark Elevation crew. That's who they sent. Like, let's send in the preliminary guys out there. So yeah, that made no sense to me, but it was a good match though. But now we get into the meat and potatoes. Like, let's get to the big part, which one of my favorite matches throughout the night, Miro versus Powerhouse Hobbs. And man, this was a hoss fight out here. This
yeah,
was probably one of the best matches of the night. The
yep.
crowd loved this. They all start chanting what was it?
Meat
Slap
forever, and
meat,
slap that meat.
slap that meat. Or what was it? A Big E said one time, "Big meaty men slapping meat
Yeah,
uh, everywhere and stuff." But this was one hell of a match, though. But once they actually got two big guys over, because usually when it comes to big guys in this company, they never really know how to book them. This was really good, especially for two guys that I've been saying that booking is really needed to get better and whatnot. Maybe that's the reason why they're on Collision. But you know, I enjoyed this match. I thought it was great. Miro did get the win with the you know, the game over and whatnot. And basically right after then, Hobbs and Miro basically, shook hands and everything, but Hobbs still attacked him from behind. He still started to choke him. But then we got the debut of Lana, or I don't know what name they're gonna be calling her now, but
Probably CJ, her real name.
CJ Perry, but she had what hot and flexible on her screen, and she ran out there with a chair and hit Hobbs with it. And then Miro hit Hobbs in the head with a chair. I thought we stopped doing chair shots to the head in this company.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that edict that came out was bullshit, bro. Because I mean, I've seen people interacting with the crowd, walking through. Mox is spitting in the crowd. MJF took somebody's beer and drank it. Apron moves and chair shots to it. Like, I'm pretty sure that was bullshit,
Didn't
bro.
MJF drink a beer before? He drunk a fan's beer before that match too. Like his match, I remember that he did that too. So what happened to all these rules and regulations they had came up with?
Yeah, they threw that out, man.
Yeah, like where was that? But yeah, and one thing you said I thought was funny about Lana there, her feet.
Oh, hey, that stays in the chat, bro.
Okay, I got you.
Actually, no, go ahead and say it, because then that's gonna make me seem like I got a fetish or something, and that's definitely not
She got some
what I
dirty ass
said.
feet. She got some dirty ass feet.
Yeah, I don't know what was up with that. Like, why are her feet dirty when she got in the ring?
You have not worn shoes?
Did she have shoes when she came out? Because
She did. Or even heels.
I mean, that at least would make sense why her feet were dirty. Like,
So
if she's just walking around in the back with her shoes off, then yeah, that would explain it. But I don't know. I can't say I was really into the whole running thing. But before that, I thought this match was fire. At first, I didn't know if the fans were like ironically cheering this match because they didn't really seem into it at first, and then all of a sudden they were chanting meat, and I'm like, is this kind of like an ironic thing? Like they're not really into it, but they just want to chant meat. But then they seemed like they was really into it. So like, all right, that's cool.
yeah,
But yeah,
cause
I thought this was another fire match, two in a row for me. Like, yeah.
I was kind of, and I do agree with you. I didn't know what that meat chant was about at first. I'm like, slap that meat. I'm like, oh, okay. I thought it was kind of weird, but they did get into the match though later on. So, like I said, it was hot. They got hot for this match, so it was definitely enjoyable. I actually thought Hobbs was actually gonna win here, but Miro ended up getting the win. So I don't think this feud is over now. But then they got Miro walking away from Lana and that accepting her and whatnot, even though it's his wife for real. But
See, but
um,
that's what bugged me about this match though. Like I love this match. No, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't even, change anything really. But they try to have their cake and eat it too. Miro's gonna beat Hobbs, and then he still gets the moment afterwards with CJ saving him. Like, why wouldn't it have made more sense for Hobbs to beat Miro, maybe underhandedly or whatever? Hobbs wins and he keeps attacking Miro, and then CJ comes out to make the save. Like, why would he Hobbs lose, and then still get beat up after the match with the chair? Like, it's like you gotta pick one, man. Miro wins, fine. We move on. Or Hobbs wins, and then you do the CJ thing. Like, I feel like to do both with Miro winning and doing the CJ save is kind of like, my man already lost, bro. Like, at least give him his heat back. Like, what are we doing here, man? So I wasn't really a fan of that because Hobbs lost. But other than that, like the match itself, I thought was flames.
Yep, great match overall though. Even like I said, some stuff I feel like didn't make some sense in here, but I'm assuming this feud may continue on, possibly. So all
I
I can
mean, but
say,
why? He lost.
but yeah, he
that's
lost, but then he
that's
beat
what
him
I'm
up. He
saying.
tried to
Like,
beat him up
he
after.
beat him, and then he got beat up again.
Yeah, he got beat
so,
up
like,
again. So yeah,
so like, why even do it again, bro? That's
why
that's what
why
I'm saying.
why continue this now? So yeah, I guess they just move on to something else. I'm gonna assume that. Next though, Chris Statlander versus Ruby Soho. For the TBS title, Soraya was out there with her, the new AEW Women's Champion.
Terrible.
Uh, oh yeah, we'll say something about Soraya in a minute, but listen, this wasn't a bad match, but
I
at
actually
the
thought it
same,
was really good, honestly.
yeah, it was a good match. My problem with this match though is why was this even really a match that felt kind of random when we said it's for Chris Statlander has been in a storyline on Collision with her and Willow fighting Mercedes and Diamante. I actually thought it would have been a fatal four-way with, Diamante, Mercedes, Willow, and Chris Statlander for the TBS title or against Mercedes again. But again, we already did a fatal four-way last week at All In. They probably couldn't do two of them and whatnot. So it was a good match, but it just kind of felt like, how did Ruby really get a title shot when we've had Statlander fight literally two different women on there. So that's what got me about that.
Yeah, I don't even think she won like a number one contenders match or something. I don't know where that came from. Like,
Yeah. Hold on, we got an incoming call. Hold on, somebody's calling in. Hello?
Hey, what up?
what is
Uh
this, Howard Stern?
Howard Stern, Baba Booey, Howard Stern, Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Baba Booey. Kyle,
No, I was
hey, what's up?
texting him. I was texting him. I'm like, man, I ain't know I ain't want to interrupt the show, but he said y'all was just on Miro at house. I'm like, oh, that's all right. Then that cut pretty early.
We just finished talking about the match. Great match.
Man, that was a hard hitted match. Man, one thing though. In one of those situations that I did think nobody should. You could have gave me a BS finish. Real talk. I wouldn't have been too mad at you. Cause the rest of the card fulfilled its duty. It did everything that it needed to do. So you could have gave me a BS finish. Real talk.
They should
Real
have
talk.
broke the
You gave
ring
me a
like
BS finish.
Taz and Bam Bam.
You say
They should have went through the ring like Taz and Bam Bam.
it's like some crazy type of thing. Like probably just go through the nah, I can't go to like go through a table the announce table or something like some type of BS finish. The crowd would have booed for a little while, but man, they would have seen the next match and would have got over it. And it's like I would have took that because I don't think nobody should have lost at this one.
That's fair.
I can understand that. I can definitely understand that. Like, given that, yeah, I feel like none of these guys couldn't lose at the same time because I feel like they've been trying to build these guys back up when it comes to booking in general. But then they brought Lana into the fold of things now, so
Yeah.
that's gonna go somewhere. But I can definitely understand that point. But we were actually just on the TBS title match, and I guess what I was kind of finished saying was, like I said, good match with Ruby and Chris Statlander. It's just why was Ruby really ever involved in this match, given that Statlander's been in a feud on Collision with multiple other people, which I was just saying probably could have been a fatal four-way, or they could have done Mercedes versus Statlander again. This was still an enjoyable match. It just kind of felt like, how is Ruby getting a title shot? Because what, the Outcast or something? And then, like I said, you got Saraya, the women's champion, which we were about to say something on that in a second because Saraya, she's got that title. So how many times will she defend it? I don't know. But the match ended up being Tony Storm from Coming Under the Ring, the Hollywood starlet Tony Storm, the new Marilyn Monroe, taking the spray can away from Ruby, and Chris Statlander hit her finisher to retain the TBS title.
Yeah, Tony. I said Christian is probably my favorite thing in the company. On the women's side, I think Tony is my favorite thing on the women's side, man. Because what she's doing right now is incredibly entertaining, and yeah,
Yeah,
I actually like Saraya. Like, don't get me wrong, I actually like Saraya a lot more than a lot of people do. But her winning the title, Sheeta losing at All In just for the hometown pop when we're not even going to be in London ever again until like a year from now is such bullshit, bro. Like, she's not going to defend this belt, bro. It's like, why, bro? Sheeta was cooking, let her cook, man. And yeah, I'm not a fan of it, man. Like at all. Even liking Soraya, I think it's so trash.
I felt like I felt like I kind of figured once I saw the whole thing, unfolding, like with Akara Shida. I kind of figured Shida was gonna be like a transitional champion. And I
Oh
don't
my
know how, what
gosh.
made me have that that gut feeling. You know what I'm saying? I knew it was, but when then especially once they did the Fatal 4 Way, I'm like, man, it's gonna be in London. I kind of had a feeling that Soraya would go end up winning, but until y'all said something, I never really put that into my head that how many times she gonna defend the championship, how many times that she gonna wrestle, and now why would you do that? Knowing well that she probably ain't gonna wrestle a handful of times. Uh, and then the matches, I wish you see it. Real talk. I remember being a huge fan of Paige Soraya. I used to be but it's like now I really don't see nothing from her. They put her in this BS the feud. I mean not feud. This BS group. They they rarely do anything really heelish. Like spray paint people. Like, man, are we like? Like I don't know. They kind of, I felt like they kind of dealt all three of them a bad hand. I'm glad Tony Storm kind of moving away from it, and she taking her bad hand and making a winning hand out of it. But the other two, I don't know.
It started off with a lot of promise, but they've completely failed them, man, creatively.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
women's division has been very bad for a very long while now within AEW and still continues in multiple ways.
And not even because of the talent. Like they got the talent.
Booking.
got they got the talent right. Booking is booking. It's like you got the talent. And, Akara Shida is man, I'm telling you, she is very good in the ring. In ring competitor, I'm telling you, she is a beast. But they, do they do anything? No.
Nah, we gotta give the belt to Soraya, bro. It's
Yeah,
Yeah,
London.
yeah, and me and Kyle was saying it last week when we did the All In review. It's like, okay, yeah, Saray got the main pop, big pop home, the hometown hero, countryman and whatnot. But Sheeta was just basically a transitional champion. Tony, which I was actually surprised, she was pinned in that match last week, but she had a rematch. Britt Baker was just literally just kind of there in that match just because, when you kind of think about it, because they got to somewhat push Baker at the same time too. So it was just a lot going on within that Fatal 4 Way last week and why Paige even, won the title.
yeah. I felt like this. Hey, this is like the first time in a while that Brent Baker felt like just a dead person. Cause every time they try to push her to the moon, she been in the forefront, but she haven't been in this forefront. Everybody not even paying attention to her no more. They paying attention to more Tony character. Tony is got a very good character going on. They love Chris. They love her. No matter what, no matter what the situation with her. I can't wait to see her go ahead and go back into the women world title picture soon. Cause yeah, you can't hold her in the mid card the mid card of the women division too much longer. Chris will have to go into the main the main event soon of the women roster. But that that Fatal 4 Way felt clunky. It felt out of it just felt I don't know. It wasn't a good match last week. And then this one right here, it was a good one. Ruby Soho, boy, man, it was a good match. It was a hard hitting match. They were beating the hell out of each other. I was very impressed by this match.
Ruby got to be up there, but like Molly Holly is one of the most slept on women in wrestling history, bro. Like
I kind of agree.
in her promo, she said, "I've never held a title in my 17 years." I'm like, what?
My
I was
Never?
goodness,
for that.
That's
man,
crazy, bro.
That's definitely crazy. I was actually kind of surprised when I heard that too. That she hadn't won a title yet. But this was definitely still a really good match though. Very enjoyable. Statlander retained. But getting on next now to the next hard hitting, brutal match. was a strap match.
Oh my gosh.
Bryan Danielson versus Ricky Starks. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat was on commentary, so I know he replaced JR at this point. Danielson, because we got to keep paying for licensed music for everybody around this company, we're going to give him the final countdown again, just like they did back at the Forbidden Door.
Well, I think this is the same purchase, right? I think Tony said he can use it like twice. And this is the second time.
Yep. Second time they've used the final countdown, and the people were very excited to hear it. I was kind of first. I'm like, why do people like to hear him with the final countdown? I guess he did it in the Indies or something. So I didn't really understand it at first, but the people were really excited to hear it. But man, this was a brutal match that even Starks had already attacked Danielson before the match even started, and he was already bleeding out there because Starks was just taking the strap, just bloodying him up, throwing him around all over the place. Until Danielson, start whipping him with the damn strap. And like I said before, I know I couldn't hear on commentary, but I think what Starks was telling what Ricky Dragon Steamboat said, it should have been you, old man. It should have been you. But then, because it was a lot of like brutal spots, like what Danielson like wrapping the strap, like who's on the top rope and just whipping him on the back with it, and then whipping him in the stomach, and then hitting him with multiple drop kicks after that. I'm trying to remember like most of the spots of this, but what they got Big Bill running out there then, attacking Danielson. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat gets up trying to attack him then. And then, Starks gets out there, and then Danielson does like a big dive on the both of them outside, throwing Starks back into the ring. Then, doing his yes kicks and still hitting them with the strap at the same time. Starks tried to go for the Rochambeau. Danielson hit him with the running knee. Fans chanting, "This is awesome." Then after that, and like I said, this is blood everywhere with Danielson and Starks after that until Danielson did the whole he's gonna get his fucking head kicked in, starts stomping on him, puts him in the label lock, uses the strap to put it around Starks' neck, choking him out, which caused Starks to pass out. He did not tap out. He passed out, and Danielson won and did his final countdown celebration. Then after that, hell of a brutal match. Probably maybe arguably the best match of the entire night.
Yeah, it's between this one and Takeshi and Omega for me, but yeah, I freaking love this match, man. Like I said, once that Darby match hit, like the card was just cool after that to me, man. Maybe before the 8-man tag, but like this little block of time since the Darby match to this match, like I was all in on this, man. I was those final moments with Danielson choking Ricky with the strap, and his face is turning purple. His eyes are bulging out of his head, and he's just starting to fade. Like I was like, "Yo, this match is crazy." And then he lost, and I was like, "All right, it's a bad night for black people." But other than that, and then it's like, yeah, that was cool, man. I freaking love this match.
I didn't even know he was black. To be honest, till you told me he was half black.
I like this match. Don't get me wrong, and anybody that knows me knows that Daniel Bryan is in my my top five. One of the top five guys I love to watch. But it just felt like we could have called an audible on this whole match. You know what I'm saying? Even though it was a good match, don't get me wrong. I'm not even saying and this was a bad match, but we could have called an audible. Real talk. If you knew the situation that you were going to fire CM Punk that day you could have called an audible. With like, man, look, this is what we're gonna do. All right, we're gonna have a little, just a match. You know what I'm saying, between him and Ricky Starks. You could probably have, you probably could bend the rules a little bit. You don't have to have a no disqualification, but you could bend the rules a little bit because Ricky Starks is the heel. You can do things like bending the rules and stuff. But I just felt like it's just we could have called the audible on this scrap match. It felt like a feud ender for a feud that never started.
Well, the feud is between Ricky and Ricky Steamboat, right? And he got him as his proxy. So I hear you, but like the feud is between Ricky and Ricky, right? And he said, "I'm old, so I can't do it. So I got this dragon to beat your ass for me." And
I do believe You
I
know what?
understand. I feel you, Steven. Don't get me wrong. I most definitely feel you because he was going to have a proxy, no matter what the situation is. If we even have Punk as his proxy, it was going to be a proxy in a in the place of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. But I was just feeling like Daniel Bryan first, first match back since the injury and everything. I just felt like we could have. I don't know. It just felt like like a a real blood feud between those two, and it was like you ain't need. I ain't need. I don't think I needed that match. For them two. I could have probably settled for a regular match. But don't get me wrong. I would definitely put this as a 4-star match. Real talk. Yeah, I would definitely put it as a 4-star match because my goodness, they put it all on the line. And Ricky Starks is something else, bro. They need to start doing the boy, man. Go ahead, do scrap the rocket on him for real. And no matter what position you put him in, you want him to be a heel, he'll be a great heel. You want him to be a face, he'll be a great face. You
Yeah.
I
know,
They sleep.
yeah,
Yep.
they sleeping on him. They sleeping on him.
I do agree he is really good, Starks, and once again, that's why he was moved to Collision because he would get a better shot on Collision than he would get on Dynamite, to be honest. And you are right about one thing. I do probably believe it probably would have been Punk if he didn't get fired that day, and then they brought in Danielson because let's remember Punk was fighting Starks first before they brought Ricky the Dragon Steamboat in. But again, Punk was already like in several feuds on Collision as it is. So I think he probably would have been in this if he didn't quote unquote get fired and then Danielson was brought in at the last second. But this was still one hell of a match though. I'm not taking anything away from it. This is, like I said, this is probably my match of the night here. So really brutal stuff, and Starks did not tap out, so they did make him look really strong in this match too.
Yeah, no,
So
I'll definitely agree with like I hear what Kyle's saying anyway, but I'll definitely agree if they do another match. Like if this was a one and done, Danielson just shows up to be Ricky's proxy and chokes out Ricky Starks, and that's that, then cool. But if we do another match between Danielson and Ricky Starks, then I definitely will be like, well, we should have built to the strap match. Like, why would we give that away first? It's like what they do at Hell in a Cell. It's like actually this is the lead up to a regular match. Like what?
because like, yeah, this is a strap match, so this was gonna be something big.
Yeah, that should be it.
So
Like
yeah, like it may be it after that.
with like and then when at the end of the show, like it kind of showed me two different things. Like, man, this guy came back, from his injury as a heel. I mean, as a face, coming back for Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Then, but at the end of the show, you are, you shown with the heels and stuff. So I think it probably is a one and done. And he going back right back to the Blackpool Combat Club stuff, whatever he doing it over there. It probably is a one and done.
Shout out to Danielson anyway, man. Like,
Back
ain't
out.
no way he still had his arm taped up. Like, ain't no way my man is 100, but he out here going crazy, bro.
It's only been
I
like
don't,
3-4 months.
I don't think he ever 100. To be perfectly honest, I think that man is battling injury from indie days, man. Seriously, man. Seriously, I don't think Brian Davis is ever 100%
I
with
believe
the
it.
yeah.
Yeah, he just be on adrenaline and just keep going, and we just hope he doesn't hurt anything out there or breaks anything. So,
Hey, that's
because he
why
be
he a
doing
goat
some,
though, bro. That
he
the
be
man is
doing some
different.
cool stuff.
He built different. He is. He built different.
Danielson is great. He's definitely built different. But moving on to the next match. There's not much to say about this one. Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta versus Eddie Kingston and Katsuri Shibata. I did like that Eddie Kingston came out with a Claudio sucks eggs t-shirt. A little bit of a tribute to Terry Funk out there. Honestly, it was a good tag match, but this is one of those things where the crowd was kind of like really iffy about all this and was just either kind of somewhat quiet. And I know a lot of people kind of somewhat left during this to go get food out of concessions and whatnot. But It was good. I thought it ended kind of flat with what Claudio just hit an uppercut on Kingston and won the match. So like it wasn't like I said, it wasn't a bad match. It was just kind of this is one of those things I was added the last minute once again to the card. So it continues Eddie's feud with Claudio, but I don't really got much to say about this match. Claudio and Yuta won, so it was what it was out there for me.
Yeah, I take back what I said when I said it was all heat until the 8-man. I completely forgot this match happened. This match was not it, bro. Like
And
it was. I mean, it was wrestled fine, but once this match came on, bro, I was just like, okay, and then, then it was over. I was like, okay, like it went too long for one, and two, it didn't progress anything. It literally was just there to be there, man. I could see if Eddie won, like if he pinned Claudio in this match, then that it's like, whoa, Eddie finally beat Claudio. All right, so now he should get a shot again for the title or something. But no, like he got his ass uppercutted and he lost. It's like, okay, so what did this even accomplish? Why was this even on the card? Like, yeah, I didn't. I wasn't a fan. It's a good thing I forgot this happened because now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, actually, I didn't even like that. So yeah, I'm with you. I ain't got nothing to say, man.
and the crazy part about it is like, yeah, I'm thinking about this match as we talking about it. And it's one of those matches that you can cut the pay per view to at least 2.5 hours, and this one of the matches that you could have cut.
Facts.
Like
Agreed.
it's like you don't really need all these matches. You know what I'm saying? In some of these matches you could have just saved for Dynamite. This was the Dynamite match. You could have just saved it for Dynamite. It would have been a nice little match for Dynamite. You know,
Facts.
for real. Yeah, it could have been or a collision, whatever you want to do with it, but it didn't need to be here. And for when Steven basically said he forgot about this match, and me, I just watched it this morning. It wasn't like I watched it last night. It was this morning, a few hours ago, and I still can't give you any move other than the uppercut because it, like Bryce said, it ended kind of flat. It was like, whoa. Even the announcers even was talking to like, what, huh? I never seen that before. European uppercut ended the match. I'm like, thanks for selling it, Nitro. You could have sold it a lot more than that. You could have made it like, man, that's one of his patented moves. You know, they end the match. And then just basically said, oh, I ain't never seen that before. Anybody's got a weak jaw. That's what he basically should have said.
Got a weak
It's like,
jaw.
it's like he could have just basically said that, but I'm like, it would end it flat. Only thing I can really remember is, it's funny. Only thing I can remember is what that boy, the ring out of Pure Champion. What's that boy name?
Shibata.
Shibata. It he is just so like a WWE creator 2K player, just a plain. He is plain as hell. That's what I can really remember. Like he don't really have no emotion. You know, I don't know. He was just plain to me. That's the only thing I can really remember because I was thinking to myself, like, man, well, he don't show no emotion.
Is this your
No,
first time seeing Shibata?
yeah, really.
Oh, okay. It's
Uh
interesting.
It's just
yes.
like it's just he didn't show any emotion to me. That's the only thing I can really remember about the whole match.
I mean, I'm not going to hit you with the "How dare you say that about Shibata?" Like, if this is your first time seeing Shibata, like, yeah, I don't see what you would have seen. It's kind of like when Ibushi showed up in Blood and Guts. Like, if that's your first time seeing Ibushi, I don't think anything was done to make you a fan of Shibata in this match. Like, it was just, like,
Yeah,
whatever.
he was there. He wasn't bad or anything, but
He wasn't bad. No, don't get me wrong. And like the boost, like you what you were saying, and man, I see a couple of his matches before, but don't get me wrong, Blood and Guts. If like Steven said, if this was my first time seeing him, I would have been like, well,
Yeah.
they're really special about this guy, you know. But I already have seen him before, so I know what his track record is. But you know, Shibata, I was like, he was kind of plain, but he was good in the ring though, hard hitting. like most of them over there anyway in Japan is hard hitting. I guess I'm telling you, man, that must be in the application.
That,
Man, can you take a hit? Can you take a hit? If you can't, you
uh,
ain't in here.
yeah,
you
that's
know?
what put him. That's what put him on the shelf for a few years. Honestly, that's he
Yeah,
ain't really
I heard about it. They were talking about it during the match, and so then I went to go look it up as I was, when I after I'm watching that match, I went to go look it up, and I, ooh, wee, man, that's man.
He
Ah,
headbutted Okada real hard and bled from his head and collapsed backstage after the match. And basically, he had to retire for a few years due to neural energy, injury and whatnot. He didn't really come back to last year, I believe. And, because first he had just been a trainer for the LA Dojo in New Japan, just training people. But nowadays, they've got him back in the ring right now. But before, yes, hard hitting stuff. And everybody talks about the match with Okada. That's what it put him on the shelf for a number of years and whatnot.
Yeah, and I think New Japan still won't even clear him for like matches. Like I think he can only do like exhibitions and
yeah,
stuff over there.
Yeah,
that,
or working
that,
AEW.
Yeah, over here
okay.
we don't care, bro. Tony's like, yeah, fuck, go do what you want to do, bro.
That's what everybody, just do what you want to do.
He must got a waiver. I swear he must got a waiver that said, "Man, look, we not even involved if you collapse again or do anything." Like with him and with Soraya, he must got some type of in a contract. Like, man, look, you can go do your thing, but I ain't got nothing to do with it.
Non liability waiver.
You get hurt,
You know,
it ain't on me.
right? You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you can go do it, but you sign this though.
Not on me. Not on me at all. So you get hurt,
Not
that's
on-
kind of
so,
it.
hey, but so that makes sense then, Steven. All right, that makes a lot of sense then because I was thinking like, oh man, they must have picked him up after he came back from his injury. It's like, man, hey, you come over here, sign with us. I thought they picked him up before New Japan had a chance to do it, but New Japan didn't even want to do it. Basically, right? Am I right?
Yeah,
Uh,
he's like he just does. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's still signed over there, but
no,
if he
he's
wrestles over there, then he's not doing matches like he's doing over here.
oh yeah, two different type of things. New Japan just really want to be careful with him. Like they'll put him in there, but they're going to be very subtle when putting him in the ring. AEW is just like, oh, okay, do what you want. So there you go. So that's kind of the thing with that. But moving on, no, I know they had Nigel McGuinness said something about Hangman. I guess it was I don't know anything else on the pre-show. Some battle royale where he donated to CPS schools. I guess that
Yeah,
was something.
He
Something.
won. He won a battle royal that donate. All right. He donated. I mean, nah. He don't. He won a battle royal to donate $50,000 to CPS
Oh,
school.
okay. Um,
Yeah.
but next was Kenny Omega versus Konosuke Takeshita. Don Callis and his loud drone-like music.
I
That
take.
drone
Oh,
music. It's
yeah.
just
I take a time out right quick. All right.
okay. But I'm gonna just say the rest of the match. We'll come back to you. But yeah, a loud drone music out there. Very good match between Omega and Takeshita. Omega, I will say at least he's probably the only elite member that everybody actually likes in this crowd. But this was a very good match. We know what happened due to Takeshita rolling up Kenny Omega last week at All In, so I figured it was going to be a match at All Out, and I did enjoy this. This was very good. Just felt like a little bit of the NJPW Omega out there again. And I like this match a lot. Obviously, Kenny trying to go for the one wing angel, which he could not get most of the time. Takeshita always finding a way to get out of it. I know Callis had got involved a few times, even getting a screwdriver within the match, but the referee ended up taking the screwdriver away when Omega's trying to put him into the one wing angel. To catch him with this big wheelbarrow move, which I swear it sent Kenny flying, but then again, he was flying throughout a lot of this match, throwing him in the air. And Takeshi ended up, hitting him with a big knee strike, lowering his knee pad, hitting him with another knee strike to the face, and got the clean win over Omega. So a clean win for Takeshita. Definitely a win that was needed for him.
Yeah, you and I went back and forth about who should win this match, and I said, well, it would make sense considering how he won it all in
I
for
actually thought
Kenny to put him over strong in this match, and he did. Like he straight up, like you said, he beat him clean. Like Callis got involved, but nothing he did was successful. Like he got the screwdriver, he missed. Takeshita got the screwdriver, the ref took it from him. So by all accounts, like he just beat Kenny straight up, and I was like, yeah, that's cool, man. That's how you make somebody, man. Because when Takeshita first turned and joined Callis and all that, like he had such momentum with the heat, and then in Tony Khan fashion, he got cooled off, and we didn't really see him after that. Then he got involved with the blood and guts thing, but not really. And it was like, yeah, you supposed to ride that wave, man. And now we're finally getting back to where we should have been. He just beat Kenny Omega straight up in the middle of the ring in a fantastic match. I'll probably put this as my second match of the night behind the strap match because the crowd, it took them, shockingly, it took them a while to get into this. Like, for me, I was sitting in my room like, yeah, this is lit. But the crowd was kind of like, I don't know yet. But once we got there in the end, like, it really turned into something special, man. But since it took them a little while to get into it, I put this second. But yeah, I thought this was fire, man, and I think it accomplished a lot. And this was the last truly great match of the show, in my opinion.
I agree because definitely a really good match, and you're right. I really did think Omega was gonna win here. I kind of thought, given that he took the pinfall from last week, but yeah, he put over Takeshita clean because I thought it was just gonna be like Callis screwdriver. He hits him in the face with the screwdriver, and hits his finisher, and that be it. But the screwdriver was taken away, and he went over strong here. So it does put definitely put a lot of stock in for Takeshita right there, especially getting a win over Omega and whatnot. Like I said, better, more reaction, and like I say, it meant more and a bigger, stronger feeling to it than it did last week with just the roll up pin and the 6-man. Like this more was like, okay, this means something now, and tell a story to the match. Obviously, still continues the whole Callis versus Omega story and whatnot. But yeah, Takeshita getting a big win right here. Omega was definitely something big. So a very enjoyable, good match. Like I said, it felt like more of NJPW Omega in a way out there.
Now
Like
the key's in the follow up, man. Like if Moxley didn't win in the main event, I would have said easily Takeshita beats Orange Cassidy to win that title, man. But now that that's not probably going to happen, it's like, okay, well, whatever we do with Takeshita now, Kenny just sacrificed himself to get this man where he needs to be. Now y'all got to keep that ball rolling, man. You didn't the first time, but now, like, do it this time.
you got him as a heel, you got him with Callis. It's going somewhere. He's got that loud drone music that I'm sure annoys everybody and whatnot. And you were annoyed by like the Titantron of it because it's just Don Callis' giant head.
Yeah, man, give this man his own Tron, bro. What are we doing, man? The
It's like
painting is cool, but like the middle bit should not be Callus's face, bro.
it's just like a loud. It's like just a giant head. Like you just see his giant head and probably like the sunglasses to Don Callis and whatnot. It's like, okay, we're gonna show you this. There's a picture of him. And we're gonna have a loud drone, and Don Callis. Obviously, he's gonna get heat out there because you heard the fuck you Don Callis chants.
And
Some are
Mr.
still saying
Wayne.
it's comparable to Dominic Mysterio on Raw right now. Some people are already comparing it to that. They're trying to get as much heat as him with Callis.
Yeah, that's what you should do. I mean, but and I mean they're doing the right thing using Callus to catch the heat. I just wish, and it's not even a big deal, but like as a fan, me watching this scene Takeshita come out, and I'm like, this feels like it's more about Don Callis than Takeshita, and it shouldn't feel like that. Obviously, the feud is between Kenny and Callis, but it should also be between Kenny and Takeshita. I mean, the Don Callis thing, once he's not involved with Kenny anymore and it's just him and Takeshita, it's only going to go so far if you're centering this around Callis and not Takeshita. So put his name up or at least put both their faces in the Tron, like half and half or something, man. Like make it more about Takeshita than Don Callis.
Yeah, because like he's managing him, but it's like this is mostly all about Callis trying to. It's all about him just trying to get one over Omega, and they've been doing this for a number of months now. So they, like I said, he finally got the win over him this time. But like I said, most of it has been Callis. I'm building this family. I'm building a family, which you only have one person part of your crew still, or just hiring anybody out of NJPW for one time. That's because like they had him out there with Will Ospreay last week.
Right, the Don Callis affiliates, bro. Like
The Don Cat, yes, you got one guy that's actually here in the company, and then there's another guy in a whole different company that only shows up like I don't know, maybe 3-4 times out of the year, depending on the event. So that's the only thing I can really say. Like, it's not like we're gonna see, hey, Don Callis is gonna show up on New Japan. All right, it's not like before when he was on commentary over there all the time.
right, which were great times.
Which yeah, him and Kevin Kelly were a great team over there too. Like that was real good commentary they had over there. But nah, you're not gonna get him every week. So definitely still definitely a very good match though. Definitely enjoyable. Like I said, probably the last great match of the entire night and whatnot. Cause wow, where do we go next into this, huh? And this is where the crowd turn on a 50-50 sort of basis right here within this whole match.
Yeah, we got the John Cena reaction out here now.
Something like that, maybe. I guess you could say a Cena reaction of being back and forth, or depending on the fans and whatnot. But Bullet Club Gold, I'll be honest, I almost thought they were about to come out the 50-cent mini men again.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that is still one of those funny things that didn't make sense. Like, I know this song and I like this song and I'm glad to hear it, but yeah, why is it with these guys that don't have any type of correlation to this song? So I'm glad they don't play it again, but that's still hilarious to me that like, wow, we're really trying to make these guys look like badasses. But yes, Bullet Club Gold though, Jay White, Juice Robinson, and the Gun Club. Now some nowadays are saying this is the real Bullet Club. Then whatever's going on in NJPW with the War Dogs or whatever they call themselves over there right now, versus the AEW Tag Team Champions FTR and the Young Bucks. And wow, you want to talk about massive heat out there? Because obviously we all know the story that has gone on throughout this entire week and within the past 48 hours and stuff. So, how can I say this? The crowd damn near kind of hijacked this match in a way, and it was 50% Punk fans and 50% Bucks fans. So we heard the multiple chants, we heard the loud boos and whatnot, because that's what I felt a lot of this match was about. And this was a pretty long 8-man tag too. At the same time, this went damn near like 20 minutes. That
see, I knew it was, bro. I told you.
You said you left. You
said,
left.
Yo, my mom made cobbler. I'm pulling up, and I'm pretty sure I got time.
You said, Dax is doing a rest hold? Yeah, okay, I came back at the right time. He's still doing a rest hold? There you go. I was like, I don't need to do this. But yeah, this is a match where the crowd, which I don't know whose side they really took. Like I said, you have the Bucks fans, and then you have the Punk fans. Trust me, I know all well. But given everything that has happened in the past 48 hours, some would say this was a different crowd than what we saw on Collision and Dynamite. Because when it was Collision, yeah, they booed the hell out of the Bucks after taking that victory lap out there at the end of Collision. And of course, Mr. I'm in fear of my life, Tony Khan and whatnot. And all my years I've been playing video games for 30 years. I've never seen such fear in my life. that's a running meme now for him. But yeah, most of this match was about, I felt like, the crowd. The tag match, long tag match.
This joint went 21 minutes, according to
21
Wikipedia.
minutes.
Golly, bro.
And the Bullet Club Gold did win. They did win. I think it was a Blade Runner. I think Jay White hit, if I'm not mistaken.
Man, I forgot they won.
Yeah, they won. I think they pinned Cash.
I was surprised they won too. I was surprised. I just knew the Bucks FTR were going over. I swear I just knew. I would have paid attention to the match until the crowd, like what y'all were talking about with the crowd, until the crowd started then they're hijacking the match. I'm like, man, hold on, what they saying? And I have to listen to it closely. I'm like, oh boy. I'm like, yeah, duh, this was gonna happen. It's gonna keep on happening every time you come to Chicago. You gonna hear this. You gonna hear those chants. You gonna be down there. They're gonna be down their heels every time they go to Chicago, bro.
Killed the
Yeah.
market.
They should be heels anyway if we keeping it a stack, bro. Because like, where's this FTR thing going if it's not the Bucks turning on them and
Because even when this match began, I was already hearing CMFTR chants. Because remember that was a team, and now that's gone now. But we heard so many chants. We heard Punk chants. We heard Young Bucks chants. We heard FTR chants. We heard Bullet Club. We heard Juice chants out there. Or fuck the Elite. Fuck the Young Bucks. And then there's a random AEW chant. I'm almost surprised there wasn't a fuck you Tony chant almost in this match. I'm almost surprised after he got booed off the stage yesterday, and I guess they finally let's not send this guy out here again to try to do damage control. Because, come on, look where he may have been fear of his life of that crowd too.
it's kind of
But
wild to be chanting "fuck Tony" when you paid to see his show. That's kind of crazy.
that would be ironic in a way too.
That would be dumb.
That'd be very
That's
dumb.
just dumb.
But I feel like the crowd may have been on a mission to hijack it anyways and whatnot. And it's kind of like I said during the Kenny match, like people like Kenny. It's just people do not like the Bucks and kind of look at them as a lot of blame and all of this. Like I told you about that victory lap they took out there on Collision and how they got booed out of the building and whatnot. So I think people are just cool with Kenny like that. But nah, you knew the heat was gonna come for them once this match. Anybody saw this coming from a mile away. And, I gotta go back. Kyle told me like at the end of the day, yes, we were not back there. We don't know everything and whatnot, but it's so many variables. Like, because we can blame somebody all day from either Punk or the Elite, but like me and Steven said before the show, a lot of this goes on management, which is Tony Khan.
Yeah,
At the end of the
yeah.
day, for letting this stuff go on as long as it has
It-
been, and how bad it's gotten, and why we're even talking about it to this level, which should have been solved literally over a year ago.
yeah,
Does
bro.
Fire and Punk solve all the problems? No, because we've already had backstage problems before in AEW with people fighting and having some type of dispute and whatnot. So him fighting, Jungle Jackoff right there, like that's just adding on to the list of multiple fights. Not saying that Jack Perry didn't have it coming to him, but this just adds on to the list.
It says a lot about my bad, bro.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say it says a lot about this match that we really didn't talk about this match, like, because listen, whenever FTR comes out for a match, especially depending on who they're facing, I kind of already know. All right, well, this is going to go long, isn't it? And it's like I'm kind of over that where everything has to like I know they're old school and they're a fantastic tag team. That's great. But if I feel like I know that at a certain point your matches are going to be all right, well let the heel team get their heat for like 15 minutes and then we'll do our cool tag team shit. It's like I'm so not interested in watching that, man. And a lot of their matches lately have been that when they don't have to be. Like their match with the Bucks at All In wasn't that. Their matches with the Briscoes weren't that. But it's like when we get them in a match with a heel tag team, it's like, man, say 10 minutes of just heat, bro. So I'm like, all right, Bryce, I'll see you in a minute. I'm gonna go get me some dessert and I'll come back. Juice has got a headlock on Dax. I'm like, yeah, that's about right, bro. Like I was going for for like 8 minutes, and that's where we're at in the match. It's like, yeah, I had a feeling like I wasn't going to miss anything. And like I said, the fact that the majority of us talking about this match are just talking about the crowd and the backstage shit and all that, it says everything you need to know, bro. It's like this went 21 minutes, bro, and we're not even talking about this match. So like
I might,
I'm over it, bro.
All right, cool. Y'all want to talk about a part of the match? What about that 4-way submission part? We can talk about that part, right?
Oh, with the sharpshooter.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
sharpshooters.
but here's the thing, like it was so we kind of figured that that's all we were going to talk about once we got to that match. Once we got to this match, the crowd basically like took over the match. You were basically paying attention to the crowd more than you were really paying attention to what was going on in the ring. Yeah, you already knew what had happened at the the day before on Saturday. So it was like it wasn't nothing interesting that was gonna come out of this match anyway. Yeah, I kind of felt like it was just thrown together anyway. Like, oh, okay, we need the Bucks. We need the Bucks on the card. We need FTR on the card. We need all these guys, all hands on deck, basically. One, because you had another pay per view, so you knew you had to make the people come out and buy the pay per view, watch the pay per view. So you needed the Bucks, you needed Kenny, you needed everybody, all hands on deck. But I just felt like this was another match. But we were just talking about the other tag team match earlier. I forgot what tag team match we were just talking about earlier. That could have been on Dynamite. This could have been on Dynamite too. Real,
Oh, the Eddie match.
Yeah, that one.
We
but
forgot again, bro.
that's why it should have been on Dynamite. Hey, this should have been on Dynamite too. It's like we didn't really need this but I understand you needed your top guys on this pay per view. So I understood why you needed them on there, but at the same time, it just felt like it was just another match that was just thrown on the card just to have it on the card.
Yeah.
Basically, and given the circumstances and under the past 48 hours, this just gave the crowd now a reason to, damn near hijack this entire match, really. Like, all it really was just about the crowd chanting things and booing the Bucks out the building and just basically damn near almost cheering for everything else, given, they let go of Punk. So, with cause apparently and whatnot. So that's basically all this. That's all this was really about. That's literally all this all was about. Because it's like what you said about Chicago and everything. Like the Bucks are gonna get heat every time they come over here now, and in a way, I don't know how smart it was at the same time to fire Punk in Chicago, knowing what is going to happen. Don't get me wrong, you probably already sold the tickets anyway, so you were going to get people as it is that already bought and whatnot. But I do feel like after that now, yeah, I wonder how well you're going to do in this market over here because they come here all the time. Like, they come here a lot, and I mean a lot.
They
Uh,
still do well. They still
huh?
gonna do well. They still gonna do well. And here's the thing.
I didn't see
This ain't. I said they still gonna do good.
you in the
I
United
promise
Center.
you. You heard me?
I heard you in the United Center.
Yeah, they still gonna do good, bro. Real talk. They still. And here's the thing, because Chicago is a smart town. It ain't no. We ain't no just no Buffalo, New York, and nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is Chicago, Illinois. We know. I mean, this is mostly all hardcore fans over here, which is AEW bread and butter. So of
True.
course they still gonna do good over here. Promise you, they still gonna do good over here. They still gonna. They just probably don't have to touch the United Center. Don't touch the United Center unless you know you could sell it out. But now arena right there, Red Trust Arena
Uh,
right there.
but yeah, well, it
Uh,
only. Oh yeah, Wintrust. Yes, that
yeah,
now arena. Now I don't know about that now arena. I was there the other day, and I told you there was nobody really there.
but you can still get it though. It ain't like it's as big as the United Center. I don't think so.
I
So
because
I think
United Center is like what 20,000, and the now arena is a 10,000 seat arena.
they had 10,000 at United Center last night. So
Yeah,
his,
that's what I'm trying to say. And that was a pay per view.
I know, but here's the thing: if you want to do, I just say you want to do the down arena instead of for a pay-per-view instead of you doing a United Center. You think they can still gonna be struggling to set out the pay-per-view?
Pay-per-view, I believe they can sell out. Pay-per-view, I believe. Regular television, not
No,
so sure.
right. So you say if I was them, I'd use the now arena for the pay-per-view, for the Win Trust arena for the shows. You know, you still there's still a good market for hardcore wrestling. Is that's what you want, like the type of wrestling is going to cater to the hardcore fans. There's still a great market for you. There's Philadelphia, there's still a good market for AEW, and I think they still going to do well here.
Yeah,
I
it
believe
also
they will.
depends on what they announce for stuff. Like,
That's true.
I wouldn't just go into it just how he's been doing it and just randomly, last minute start announcing matches. Like, you got to really build stuff up and announce dope stuff. Like, and I'm sure it'll be fun.
You can't just throw anything out there. I think it may change a little. They'll still get the people. I'm not saying they can't get people and everything. Do I think Punk brought a lot of boosts to, sales over here? Obviously. Do I think, people will still come without him? Yeah, maybe a little bit lesser and whatnot, but I believe they will still come. I don't know how. I'm not saying they're gonna do too many low numbers or nothing, but I don't think it'll be as big as before. But as Kyle said, still Chicago. It's still a hot market, and they come here all the time. Some would think that there's a term called killing the town when you come to the same place one too many times. Though, not saying it's a bad thing, but there's a thing called burning out the market too.
And one more thing, and I wanted to throw this in too. It's, people hate when I mention AEW, the hardcore AEW fans. They when we talk about Daniel Bryan and Phil Different, these guys are built different. Real talk. They're gonna sell out anything because you got guys like us that say, nah man, you killing the market. You killing the market. You probably gonna have hardcore AEW fans that still gonna be like, man, nah, we not tired of y'all coming over here. We want y'all to keep coming over here. And I think they are. That's how they built. They still gonna go out, and if they had another show in Chicago in September 30, so in next 3 weeks, you get what I'm saying? They will still come. I promise you. I don't know about AEW fans. It's like AEW hardcore AEW fans. I ain't just talking about like casuals or anything like that.
Oh, the super hardcore is yes.
Those guys are built different. They gonna make sure they put over something that's in AEW. So they gonna make sure that AEW is good no matter what. I promise you, they gonna go out and they gonna buy all the merchandise. They gonna do it. They gonna make no matter if it's bad product or a good product or in between product. They gonna make it seem bigger than what it really is.
I do agree the hardcore aspect of it because yeah, they'll get the hardcore fans no matter what. May turn away some casuals and whatnot, but we've had conversations about this in the past of some of AEW being a niche audience and whatnot. Yes, you have your main fan base. That's good, but at the same time, you still want to draw new eyeballs and whatnot to the product.
You do, but it's hard. It's hard now. It's like it really is. Like even WWE is probably having a hard time really drawing in new fans. Because how niche the sport of wrestling it became. You know, and we talked about 30 years ago. And this is probably a water cooler type of conversation. Talk about Stone Cold whooping a nigga ass. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, did you see Monday Night Raw last night, man? You probably was talking about it 30 years ago. I was just talking to my cousin about this last night. I'm like, you just can't. I can't walk up to a person nowadays. I gotta know if this man is a wrestling fan. He gotta be wearing a shirt and everything. Like last time I went to see Blue Beetle, I saw somebody with the acknowledge me shirt. I pointed to him like, hey, just to show him it's like it's another wrestling fan around you. There's probably two of us in the whole theater. It's like that's how niche the audience is for wrestling now. So it's gonna be hard for both AEW and WWE even to get new fans.
Steven, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I
I
mean,
thought you were gonna say something about that. But no, that is I do understand what your point though, what you just said there though. Definitely get it, especially with fans of what you're trying to draw in and whatnot. But let's get to the main event though. And my God, I'm honestly surprised this was even the main event of this whole show. All I did was roll my eyes, and I really did my best to pay attention in this. Like I really tried. John Moxley versus Orange Cassidy for the AEW International title. And I don't know why they had this as the main event, but then I had to remember, well, the world champion was just already in a tag match on the first part of this whole show. And I'm sitting there like, of all the matches you all put in the main event, this is the best you gonna give us. Moxley, I understand. Moxley's been in the main event before. I have my different opinions on Moxley nowadays, but he's been the world champion and all this stuff. But for the international title against Cassidy, let me say this here because I was already in that building last Wednesday. Y'all already know about how ridiculous with the Pentagon thing I've already described, and with the whole, hey, I can hit you with 3 Canadian destroyers, and you could not even sell that, or hit a finisher 2 times, break an arm, but nah, you still kick out though and win by a roll up, and just listen. I've been in the building. I can tell you who the gatekeeping fans were because, like, if you say anything about Cassidy, it's like they start looking at you crazy, and they kind of looked at me and my friend crazy at the time because we know how bad the booking was. But it's like this match was just Moxley trying to beat the living hell out of Cassidy out there. I'm almost surprised Moxley didn't even bleed in this damn match. And I'm used to him bleeding almost like every 2 minutes in the match, but he was just beating the hell out of him, putting him in the bulldog choke, hitting him with multiple Death Riders. And they tried, and I get the story they were telling here. Cassidy fighting to the occasion, surviving out there, going against Moxley. But by God, this was 20 minutes, damn near, this match was. 20 minutes. And this was the main event. And, we talk about, hey, Punk was Tony's boy. Well, hey, this is Tony's boy right here. Like, look at this long title reign they've given him. Like, what? 30-something wins where even I just sat there to the point, like, I just tuned out of these matches. And I damn near kind of tuned out when I was at the building. Like, I paid attention, but it's like, I'm sitting like, this is really the main event. This is the best you got. And I just kind of started laughing to myself. Moxley winning the title. Honestly, I feel like if Mox lost, he would have lost credibility. I actually thought that if he actually lost here, but he won. The Blackpool Combat Club came out and celebrated with him, walked to the back. And then the best friends, I guess, came out there and picked up Cassidy, and the fans chanted, "Thank you, Orange." But, my take on it, it was like, why was this the main event? Like, this is the best you got to give me for a main event. Like, I even had to sit there and say, like, these niggas, I swear. Whoo, good God. But match-wise, I get the story, though. So I'm trying to be fair and balanced. I'm trying. So
Where's this fair
go
and
next.
balance
Go
part
next. Go
coming in
next.
there?
Please go next.
Well, where's the fair and balance part coming in there? You
Okay,
said
it was
fair and balance.
shitting on.
Where's the part coming in at? Cause
Most
I
of it was
had
me shitting
several
on.
for Orange Cassidy the way you were talking. I had several for
Okay,
that man.
most of it was me kind of just crapping all over it, most of it, damn. But man, let be honest though. You could have put the strap match in the main event. You could have put Takeshita and Omega in the main event. That could have
I
been.
can see.
Crowd was
I
hot
can
for that.
see. I can see Omega and Takeshita because they had a hot storyline. One is one of their top storylines in the company. Don Callis versus Kenny Omega. So I can see that. I can see that. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. But I can't see the strap match. I already told you my feelings about it. We need a strap match. So it definitely didn't need to put it in the main event. Um, I agree. I agree. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm not a big Orange Cassidy fan. I'm really not, but he's super over, white hot over with the AEW crowd. They love him out there. As soon as his music hit, they love the shenanigans, the hands in the pocket, the kicks in the calves. They love all of that. So my question is to y'all: if they love all of that, are you going? Why would you take it away? Not saying I'm a fan. I'm not a fan. I'm telling y'all that right now. But why would y'all take it away if I hear the uproars of people going crazy over the man? Why would I take it away?
You mean in general or on this show?
Just in general, that why would
Well,
I
you
take it away?
wouldn't.
There we go. There we go. And he wanted the highest merchandise seller too.
Yeah, and at the
Uh,
point he was moving ratings too. So I mean,
He was moving ratings for how many weeks? 1 week?
listen to
How
this
many
man,
weeks?
bro.
No, 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 no,
I,
no. Tell me how many weeks. I remember 1 week. I told you before it was 1 week. How many weeks?
I'm
but
just saying the report was that he moves numbers ratings, bro. Like that's why he kept putting him first. That mean,
Well, I want to know on what grounds, to be honest.
listen, man.
I
Everything isn't for everybody. That's fine. It's
I get
okay
you,
that
but
you
I'm
don't
like,
like Orange
I want to
Cassidy.
see the numbers of this.
just imagine y'all. I can just imagine y'all. I got to go back and listen to some of y'all. So I can just imagine because I can. Orange Cassidy, this ain't the first time Orange Cassidy has pop up in a conversation. So I already know how Bryce feel about him. Bryce already know how I feel about him. Like I told y'all, I'm not a huge fan. And like Steven said, it ain't for me. I know it ain't for me. I tried it a few times. You ain't got to keep trying things to know it ain't for you. And I know that man ain't for me. You know what I'm saying? So, but at the same time, if he if he at least top five merchandise sellers, and I hear the roar for the crowd every time I hear this man music. The matches, during the match they still with him. That they gave him a thank you orange chant last night. For the match and everything. I'm just saying, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't take it away. I wouldn't take it away.
Yeah, exactly.
Even
It's
though
exactly like LA Knight right now. I mean, it's just the dude's popular, so you you feature him. That's what you're supposed to. That's wrestling, man.
right, you feature the most popular guys. So yes, don't get me wrong. Like I don't understand the character either, but I see little kids dressing up like the man in the crowd. You know what I'm saying? Got the sunglasses, hair slicked back, super cool demeanor. So
Same.
I see that. Why would I just continue it? You know, it's like I think Tony is in a bad dilemma, y'all. Real talk. I really think he is a bad dilemma, or how to present his product, because I feel like you got the super hardcore fans that still gonna be with you or something. And you got certain casual fans that came in because they seen the Jerichos, they seen the Claudios, they seen guys they seen in the WWE or back in the day. So they see that you got some of them. But how to present your product, how can how can I present you a serious product? Yeah, I turn around and I present you or Cassidy. It's kind of a back and forth type of show. It's one minute you show up the FTR with this technical older Brown matchup. Then you should don't. I don't care about the cruiserweight, not the cruiserweight, but whatever they call nowadays. The high flyers, the guys who do a lot of high flying tricks now. But it's like they present me Orange Cassidy, who give me the best of both worlds with the goofiness and the technical wrestling. I don't know how to present his. I don't know what to say about his matches, but it's like I don't know. I'm sorry for rambling so long, y'all. It just kind of baffles me with Orange Cassidy and AEW and all that.
Well,
It's
there's
just
the reason.
like, I mean, that's the name of the game in wrestling, right? You never really know why anything gets over. Just stuff just does, man. Like I just said about LA Knight, it's not like LA Knight has a catalog of classic matches or something. Like I would even say Orange Cassidy's a better wrestler than LA Knight, but it's just something about him just caught fire, and then all of a sudden that fire bloomed, and now he's the most over thing in the company. It's like sometimes you just gotta roll with that. I like a lot of what Orange Cassidy has done, but I'm not one of those that's like automatically I'm into everything he does either. Like I mean, I said this to Bryce too, even liking a lot of what Orange Cassidy has done, and even in this reign, a lot of his matches I thought were great. I thought that match with Penta was bullshit the way he was booked. Like, but not to go into a whole deep, long conversation about Orange Cassidy in general, but in this situation though, even liking a lot of what he's done, I wouldn't have put this as the main event either. I mean, if the point of this being the main event was to give him his moment at the end because you knew he was losing the title, so after it was over, you get the thank you Orange chants and all that. I mean, maybe, but I feel like if you on this show had, like I mentioned at the very beginning, if you had the Aussie Open rematch that could have main evented with Adam Cole and MJF. I mean, he is the world champion. That would have made more sense. But since they didn't do that and they went with the Dark Order of all people, then okay, that's not going to main event. So I mean, what do you main event with? The strap match, I guess. I mean, yeah, maybe. I mean, Takeshita was going to beat Omega, so I guess they didn't want to go off the air like that. So I mean, I don't know, but I mean, there's something to the main event of the show, right? Because after that 8-man tag match, and it's about 11, 15 over here, and this match comes on, and I'm like, this isn't the kind of match that I would stay up to watch if this were like, this. I understand the story being told. Moxley is just going to hit Orange with everything he's got. The match is wrestled well. Orange refuses to quit and all that. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. But this is not the kind of match I'd stay up till midnight watching on this show. Like, Orange Cassidy Moxley is not that match, man. And on this show, I don't really know what match could have been in that slot for me to feel differently. But for the sake of not going too long on this, because I got to get out of here at some point. But it was cool, I was looking at my phone a lot because it went like 20 minutes, so I was up and down looking, scrolling through Twitter, and so I got the gist of it. But it never really reached that what a classic main event we're seeing, and that's fine. It is what it is, but it just I don't know where we go from here. That's really my main thing because, like I said, I would have had Takeshita be the one to beat Orange Cassidy, but they gave it to Moxley, and I don't really know to what end. Like, where do we go with Moxley now? Like, is the international championship about to be like this hardcore title now, where you come up and face Moxley and you're gonna bleed in your match and all of that? And it's like, do we really need the international title to be that? I don't really think so, but
We
where if
need
we
that.
had, if we gave it to Takeshita, we would just be getting dope, hard hitting matches every week. And I don't know, but I thought just to wrap it all up that it was cool. I mean, I thought this show in general had a lot of really dope stuff on it, especially in that middle portion, sans the Eddie Kingston tag match. You take that out, that middle portion I thought was fire. But then there's a lot of, not a lot, but stuff on here that I wasn't really feeling. Like I really didn't. I wasn't driving with the way that Hobbs lost, and then also got beat up after the match. I wasn't really feeling how they presented Shane Taylor and all that. I wasn't really feeling the opening tag match and the wasted potential that was. I wasn't feeling the Eddie Kingston tag match where it was here just to be here. It furthered nothing, advanced no stories or anything. I wasn't feeling the long, drawn out 8-man tag, which Bullet Club won for some reason. And then the main event was Moxley and Orange Cassidy. And I was like, yeah, it's cool, but you know, but on the other hand, that strap match to catch the Omega, uh, Miro and Hobbs, the match itself, I thought the TBS title was fire. Darby and Luchasaurus, I thought was fire. So it's like, yeah, I'm really on a 50-50 on this show, maybe 60-40, because the good stuff was really just that good to me. So I'd give it a thoroughly enjoyed that as opposed to like a not bad. But yeah, so it was cool, mostly cool, but it had its problems.
Um,
I do agree on that. Obviously, given that they had a pay-per-view last week and then going into another pay-per-view this week, we knew it was going to be a lot of random matches kind of being added at the last second. Don't get me wrong, a lot of these matches on here were really good, especially into the middle portion. As you were just saying, I do believe some things could have been omitted out here, or even just should have been on television, like Dynamite or something like that, and they could have just gone on from there. But we do know how these AEW pay-per-views go very long at the same time, also, because like I said, this show didn't go off till like what, almost 11 o'clock over here, if I'm not mistaken, in my time zone. And given what they had to shuffle around, and then when you add on the Punk situation, that shuffled more things around, because I probably believed he would have been on this show if it wasn't happening, with all of the backstage stuff once again, and all the chaotic stuff throughout the weekend, which we always get the story of, it's most of the backstage drama than focusing on the actual show or pay-per-view and whatnot. That's been a saying for a while now. But I thought this was still a pretty good pay-per-view that did have some really dope matches, like the strap match, like Hobbs versus Miro, like Takeshita and Omega. But then, like you said, there are those ones that didn't really need to be there, or they just went on way too long, like Bullet Club Gold versus FTR and Bucks, or even Eddie, Eddie and them out there. It's like, why did this match need to be on here? And it felt very Ring of Honor heavy in the beginning of the entire show until it started. It kind of picked up with Christian and Darby, but it didn't really get back on fire until Miro and Hobbs came out. And like I said before, I think they could have put a different match in the main event. I still don't think this should have been the main event, because yes, where does Moxie go on with this title now? Is it going to be some hardcore death match type of thing every week? Because that's basically his forte, and he'll bleed. You like I'm surprised he didn't even bleed in this match, but we know he bleeds when y'all almost like within 2 minutes of the match. Is that where it's going to be? Because it's like in my opinion, it's gone from a gag title reign. Now we're going to a blood title reign. That's where I feel like this is going to go next. But I still don't think this should have been the main event. I think if situations didn't go as crazy as they did in this past few days, I think we may have seen somewhat of a different card on this show. We probably would have had Punk on this show, to be honest, if Tony didn't fire him and everything. But hey, fear your life and whatnot.
Well, that
But
definitely would have been the main event, right? Ricky and
yeah, he
Punk for the
probably would have.
world title. That easily would have been the main event.
Oh yeah, I believe it would. He would have been the main event, and it probably would have been against Ricky and Ricky Starks, and probably Steamboat would have been out there on commentary or whatnot. That probably would have been the main event, but they decided to go with the international title for some crazy reason. But I've said it before. This is Tony's boy. This is Tony's other boy. So I get what you mean about pushing people when they're popular, but even I've even got to the point. Somebody told me this best. By God, I'm surprised they just haven't put the world title on this man. Then at this point, if you're gonna have him go over this many people, because I'm surprised they've had him go over this many people. The Pentagon thing to me, that just made me roll my eyes the other day. Okay, that I just rolled my eyes at that. But there's other matches I can count too within this long reign that just felt like it was going on forever. So it could have been another match that could have main evented this show. But overall, like, due to situations, they still came out with a pretty good show. But I still think, in my opinion, it isn't really smart to do one pay-per-view back-to-back off of each other when you put all your chips on All In, knowing how big that whole show was going to be with an 80,000 seat arena and whatnot compared to yesterday?
Well, I man, the crazy part about it kind of surpassed my expectation. My expectation wasn't very high anyway, so I ain't really dig too high of Yami. But when I watched it, I'm like, well, it was a couple of matches I walked away really liking. You know, Ricky Starks versus Daniel Bryan, one on one. Takesha versus Kenny is another one. You know, I really like that one. I really like Takesha, real talk. And so I really want to see him do some big things. You know, of course, I'm unanimous. It's all three of us don't feel like that should have been the main event. You know, unanimous. All three of us don't feel like that. It's like Moxley winning the title. I feel like okay, what they trying to do is like whoever takes the title off of him should feel like a bigger star. You know, whoever take the title off of him. You know, no matter how much I think of how less I think of John Moxley, he's still one of their biggest stars. Yeah, I understand that. So I just hope you could bring some type of prestige into that title. That's what they were trying to do with the Orange Cassidy title run, but nobody was. I mean, it wasn't really too many people who were feeling it like that. You know, of course, you had the crowd. I think that's your hardcore fans and everything. But I don't think a lot of other people were feeling the title reign too much.
Mm.
But every other, I mean, I get a pay per view like a C plus or something, man, right in the middle, average pay per view. More than what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going like they weren't going to really hit anybody expectation. But it was the middle of the road type of pay per view like what they did last week to me.
I definitely get your point though. Yeah, because we did say that last week. Like All In was still a big show, but there were some matches that were kind of that kind of felt like a middle of the road type of thing, and it was mostly I think what made that show so successful last week was due to the crowd. The crowd and the atmosphere gave it a lot of more plus to it than some of the actual matches on that show. Given it's a big stadium and it looks like a giant spectacle, you know how it can make things look really good. Even if something doesn't look that good within the show, the crowd and atmosphere helps a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I kind of go with it and whatnot to compare with all that. But I do kind of agree with somewhat of a C plus. Nah, I'm not gonna go to a B, but most likely a C plus. I would kind of go within this actual show for All Out.
Fair enough.
So you would grade it a C plus too, or
Oh well, I mean, I gave it I thoroughly enjoyed that because I mean, letters and numbers are arbitrary, at this point. So I just, did I enjoy the show? Largely, yes, and then and that's where I kind of just leave it. It could have been better, it could have been worse, but I mean, I got some potential match of the year candidates on this joint, so I can't even say it was bad. But on the other side, like I said, there were matches that were eh. like not bad, but like why is this on the show kind of matches, man? And like even matches like that 8-man tag that made sense to be on here, like they were really just typical collision main event fodder, man, instead of like really trying to go out here and do something crazy. And maybe that's because FTR and Young Bucks had a fantastic match all out, and maybe, they're taking back a little bit, just having a regular tag match. That's fine, but I mean, that's the risk you run with doing pay-per-views back to back, man. If you can't do something like that, then don't do that. Because I don't want to phoned in, half-assed, all right tag match when I know the parties involved can do something much better. I mean, we just saw FTR and these exact group of dudes, at least half of them have two back-to-back bangers on Collision, and this match
Yeah.
was definitely not that. So I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, maybe it was because we just did this at All In with FTR and Bucks, and maybe they're just taking it easy for a week. But it's like, yeah, I don't know. The Eddie match though, there ain't no excuse for that, bro. Like that match was so whatever. And the fact that Eddie lost again is just like, why did we even do this, man? Like that forever is going to bother me because it just didn't make any sense. Same thing with the Dark Order being in the tag title match instead of Aussie Open or the Kingdom. Like
That blew me. I swear it did. I swear it did. Like
it just
usually
doesn't make any
things
sense, bro.
that
Does it?
usually things I don't really get mad too much with AEW put in. You know they love Battle Royal and stuff like that, and sometimes I don't even get mad at the winner. But I just thought that you were gonna, knock it out the park and hit me with a nice little match for the All Out. Yeah, I thought y'all. I like, man. I saw so many matches that you could have did, like you said, the Aussie Open rematch. I'm like, man, this shit. I, I haven't been really impressed with Jeff Hardy lately, but shit, you could have did that. You could have put the Hardy Boys against these niggas. It's like I just could not believe that y'all chose the Dark Order. In fact, my bad. I'm sorry. That did blow me though. I ain't gonna even lie. That
No,
did.
I hear you, man, because
Not
it's
great.
like you're asking a lot for fans. There's no discounts. All in didn't stream on HBO Max, so you're asking a lot for fans to pay back to back $100 for both of these shows in a recession, and it's like you gotta give me some shit, bro. You gotta give me some heat, boy. And you're gonna throw the Dark Order on here. You're gonna throw random Joe Shane Taylor match. You're gonna throw a random, not even random, but just some arbitrary Eddie Kingston Claudio tag. You could have did a title versus title Eddie Kingston Claudio match on here, and that would have made way more sense, especially if you just have Claudio beat him or the other way around, like whatever. But to just have this nothing tag match, this is like I don't know, man. You asked a lot of your fans, and I don't think even with the matches I thought that were fantastic, I don't think it reached the level of yeah, this was worth paying $100 back to back. Like, nah, I don't think so, man. Like, and that's not going to affect my rating. I'm still going to give it a thoroughly enjoyed that, but just putting it in that perspective of yeah, you paid $50 last week, and now you're paying another $50, and you're not really, you know, the phrase quality over quantity is like that's
Yes,
that's
it is.
very much true, bro. If you gave me just those matches that were hitting and you took all the extra stuff off and then instead of Dark Order put Aussie Open on there, that's a banger card right there, man. Like I'm not even going to call it the Triple H way of booking because Triple H fills his shows with bullshit anyway. But it's like
Yeah,
just give me like smooth. Like don't say you're giving me 5 matches, but then you got two 20-minute talking segments. Like don't do that either. But just a
about this.
smooth 5 matches, 6 matches of just heat, bro. Like no filler just for the sake of getting people on the card. No filler just for the sake of making this go to midnight for no other reason than it's going to midnight. Just give me some heat, bro, and that's all I need from it. All this filler shit, man. Because after that, after Omega and Takeshita was over, I was like, yeah, I could go to bed, bro. I got what I needed from this show, man. I saw every one of the matches I thought was going to be fire. They all were, and I still got 2 matches left that are kind of like, eh. And I try to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, okay, FTR Bucks, Bullet Club Gold, this could be something, but no, 20 minutes of just, well, here's 10 minutes of heat and like, okay, then Moxley and Orange Cassidy come up and it's like, yeah, I get what you're doing, but this doesn't feel like the kind of match at 11:30 where I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm still in here. Like, nah, not really. So,
Stay up. I
you
gotta
know,
stay up for this Orange Cassidy main event. Nah, that just don't sound right to me. It just don't sound right.
it didn't
And
feel right either watching it.
Didn't. I was surprised when I heard it was the main event. I thought he was joking at first.
did y'all notice? Hold on. I know y'all probably didn't notice, but y'all probably did. But two people had a first main event of a pay per view this weekend. Y'all noticed that? Two people of two
Oh,
different.
Shinsuke?
Shinsuke had his first one, and Orange Cassidy had his first one. Now, one felt like it should have been the main event, and I would have been like, yeah, this feel like it, yeah. Shinsuke should have been here a long time ago.
What's funny
Versus,
is that match. I mean, not to go off a tangent, but that match also didn't really feel that big when I was watching it. I was like, I don't know. The tag title match was kind of heat, bro. That cage match was kind of heat. I don't know about this one, bro. Like,
I guess they felt like, man, we have to, we gotta throw Seth a bone with this world title. Got to put one of them at least in the main event. You
he should
know,
have been there. It just, the match itself just didn't really reach
It
that
didn't.
level.
It was a good match, but yeah, it wasn't like that. High as it was though. To be honest, it was good.
Facts.
It just it just felt like you already knew Seth was gonna win.
It's really the tale of two pay-per-views because both pay-per-views kind of suffered from that. like like
yeah,
other matches on the card felt bigger and better, and then the main event comes and it's like, yeah,
because, because yeah, I felt like both matches felt like they were doing they were trying to throw a lot of heat in it in a so few time. Like I think the Shinsuke and Seth feud were only happening for like 3 weeks. So you was trying to throw so much heat in that feud. They tried their best. I ain't gonna even lie. They had me a little bit because I like both guys. You know, so but with Orange Cassidy and John Moxley, I felt like they started off the feud with it just right out the back, like, oh, no disqualifications. This match right here with John Moxley and Trip Loretta. And I'm like, hold on, time out. Why are we having a no disqualification? Then the same week on same week on Rampage, we're gonna have a parking lot brawl. Whoa. Hey, this is only the second match of the feud.
all right, Stadium Stampede last
Stadium
week.
stamp, and then it's like we go from a parking lot brawl then to a stadium stampede. It's like where are we going with this feud? Like they
And that's
sacrificed Claudio for God's sake. Like where was
and
this going?
And that's how that feud felt like, and that's why I totally agree with Steven. Both matches felt felt like they shouldn't even been there, and other matches on the card should have been in their place. Even for payback, I felt like, well, if we were gonna blow this feud out with Trish and Becky, damn it, we should have just gone ahead and put them in the main event.
True.
If I knew all of that was going to happen, I would have definitely put that in the main event. But
True.
and then with all out, I would have put man, Kenny Omega and Takeshi. Real talk. That's my opinion. That's what I would have put in their place.
I agree. I definitely agree upon that. And I'll just say this too before we get out of here. Yeah, because I kind of felt like with All Out, especially with both main events on pay-per-views, All Out main event was like something I would think out of universe mode for some reason. That felt like a universe mode type of match
When
almost in the main event.
you keep simulating, the guy that you never knew, that you never thought that would got some attributes, you be like, how he get in the main event? Because you kept simulating.
That's hilarious.
There you go. There you go. But to end off, do you have anything to plug? Both of you guys.
Not yet. In a month, we'll revisit this, but not right now.
Kyle.
Follow me at Straight Face 40 on Twitter, and that's about it. Sure.
Yeah. Follow me on Twitter at Hooded Knight 890. Maybe I should make an Instagram. Everybody keeps telling me I should make one. I think about it.
I mean, if you hop on IG, bro, then I'll really have no reason, honestly, to have Snap because you're like the only person I talk to on there.
Yeah, I only got Snapchat and Twitter. Like everybody says, "Oh man, you should get Instagram. You should get Instagram." It's not like I don't want to. I just didn't really never think about it. But yeah, maybe I will make one. I think I will. Maybe. We'll see. Probably soon. No. But other than that, this is the All Out review. Subscribe. hit the like button, hit that notification bell, and we out from here.